It's now time for Matt and Dan in the house. Well, a very good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Matt and Dan in the house of...
Quark.
Exactly.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night,
Good
wherever
night.
you're.
Good evening. So welcome everyone to another episode of... What? What did you say?
I said, well, not good night, but...
Yeah, maybe good nights at the end. Unless,
Yeah,
I don't know, unless they watch it before they go to bed. I don't know. But then you want... This is getting really complex now. Let's just get on with it. Right. So welcome everyone to Matt and Dan House of Quark. You can be watching us, of course, on our Facebook group at M&DHQ. And give us a like there as well, please. Or you can subscribe as well on our YouTube channel. Also like our videos, of course. Feel free to comment and all that. Or listen to us, of course, on our Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, and Breaker as well. And not forget, so Overcast and Pocket Casts as well. Lots of other third-party stuff that we're on as well. You just type us in on Google and you will find us and all sorts of things. So just find one and listen. And please, if you can, let us know where you're listening from. It'd be great to know.
Yeah,
I like it to know that. So yeah. Right, so episode 11 now.
11.
We made it all the way to 11. Here we are. Right, and so for episode 11, what are we talking about? So today, let's get creative. We're gonna get really creative now in this episode. Today we'll create our own fantasy crew. So I thought I'd call it a fantasy crew. Kind of reminds me of like a fantasy football team. But
that is exactly how I thought of it.
Yeah. But this is the nerdier version.
Yeah.
And this is the fantasy Star Trek crew team. Yeah.
So that's what
exactly. So that's what we're gonna just don't pick a red shirt sort of thing.
Yeah.
So just to go through the list now, of what we'll be picking. So we'll be taking in turns. We'll back and forth, what we will choose in our team and our crew, and of course explain why, the reasons for that. So of course we're going to start with our chief engineer, then we've got the medical doctor, got a nurse, helmsman, head of security or chief security, communications, first officer, captain, and we also got a +1 slot as well, or random character who we feel like would be great to have on the team as well. And also we're gonna name our ship and also the class of the ship as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really exciting.
I look forward to seeing hearing your list. I can't wait.
I think it's gonna be great.
Yes.
Right then, so let's get going. So I got a list here somewhere on pages. There it is. It's my list, because otherwise I'll forget what we're doing. Right then, so
yeah, I mean, you almost deleted it, so
I did almost delete it. You are right. He's not lying. I did almost delete the work I put in for this episode. I'm literally a minute before we started. It's funny.
It's just classic Matt. Yeah.
Literally a minute before we start, I was just gonna. I actually went and press delete. It was like, "Are you sure you want to delete this?" I was like, "Yeah, no." So let's get started. So chief engineer on board your ship. So do you want to go first?
Let me go. I go first. Well, when I was making it, the first person that came to mind, this isn't my chief engineer, the first person that came to mind was B'Elanna from Voyager. Mm-hmm. As previously mentioned in other podcasts, I love B'Elanna. I think she's great. But so honourable mention there, but my chief engineer I've gone with from Star Trek DS9, Chief O'Brien. Chief Miles O'Brien. For one, a few reasons, but they're all the same reason. He's, I want to use the phrase, he's a jack of all trades, master of none, in that he does everything. He literally does everything. So when we see him in TNG, we kind of see him sitting next to Data at the helm, and then the next lot where he's doing the transporter, and then he's doing this, that, and the other. And then
he's got a lot of tricks in his bag, isn't he?
Yeah. And then when he gets to DS9, he's like this main engineer, and I really love that they brought him over from TNG to DS9, because obviously on TNG he was just like a smaller character, and like he was still really really interesting, and really well played by the actor. It's just the fact that he can do so much, and I think he will be a valuable engineer. So he could he could be on the bridge, but if I need him in the transporter deck or suite or whatever, transporter bay,
I
have him there. So in terms of placing him on the ship, I can place him anywhere and not worry about him, not knowing his stuff, which is another reason. Obviously, jack of all trades, master of none. He knows. He's very intelligent, and he's very very creative. Especially, obviously, in DS9, he's not working with Federation technology. He's working with Cardassian technology, because Deep Space Nine is Cardassian, is a Cardassian thing. So the fact that he has to adapt to working with Cardassian technology, and he does it so well, and he takes to it like a duck to water, really, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So that says to me that he's just really, efficient and adaptable to different technologies. So, like, if we're on our voyages throughout space and we come across new technology, he'll be a great engineer to have, because he's got experience with working with new technology. And I love that he has like a love-hate relationship with DS9. In that, like, an episode I recently just watched, he was talking about how like the Cardassian computer like speaks to him and stuff, and like and there was a bit in the episode where he's like he can hear a noise, but Sisko can't hear it, and like Chief O'Brien's like, "Can you hear it? Can you hear it?" And Sisko's like, "I can't hear it." The fact that he can just hear a noise that nobody else can hear is like that's the mark of a great engineer. That he's so passionate about, like, technology and engineering, and he has a great relationship with his craft. So I think, like I say, really valuable chief engineer for me.
Yeah. I'd say, I like how he said, he went to DS9. I think really gone into a lot of depth. He really got to learn the relationship with him, obviously, of his personal life as well, his married life, and obviously with a child as well with it. I love what you say how adaptable he is, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think I remember when they get attacked by the Breen, and he gets really interested, because obviously he's like, what the hell, or whatever, because the Breen is technology they don't understand, but he's like one of the minds trying to work it out, isn't he? Like how the Breen does it, or whatever, their technology. So very adaptable, and very, like you said, the idea he can hear things that no one else can hear, and I think it's a very good choice, actually. Yeah, I
think like I say, that's the mark of a good engineer. The fact that he's like just so what's like the right phrase? So in tone with with the ships that he's on and stuff like that. He's wired in almost to his surroundings. But and I mean, just a great lovable character as well. Like you say, he's a family man, and So.
Right. So with me, I mean, I'm gonna have an honourable mention. I'm gonna have an honourable mention, if that's okay as well, because you had one.
Yeah. Well, I did one.
So. I was thinking, as an honourable mention, I will say Scotty. The reason being is kind of like Chief O'Brien. Scotty is can do most things. As in, there are loads of episodes where Scotty commands the Enterprise. Scotty does actually take over. Scotty as well just has those great one-liners. I'm giving all she's got, Captain, and all that. That's just brilliant. That, to me, that is Star Trek. So that's Scotty, yeah. But I didn't choose Scotty. I actually chose. I was surprised about that, yeah.
Yeah.
I chose.
Now.
I chose Charles Tucker, Trip. Yeah.
Very good choice. Very good choice.
I chose him because I think, kind of like Miles O'Brien as well, he he's very passionate with his work. He his job is his life, literally. You know, like you definitely see on, I definitely see on an Enterprise that he is in love with that ship engine. He's in love with that, and he knows the ship engine from the back of his hand. Like he can make the thing dance. You know, that's the whole thing with him.
Like he made it.
It's his baby. It's everything. And and like I said, he's just. I think he's just kind of like Scotty in a way. This sort of like charming character as well that he has. You know, he's just a quite a very lovable guy. I think I think I get on with him as well. He seems like like he's very serious with his job. You know, you don't want to cross him, sort of thing. But he's very. I don't know. To me, he comes across very approachable. Trip does very approachable and very. It's just.
You'd be mates with him down the pub.
Yeah, that sort of guy. But also, I feel like I could learn a lot from him as well. Like he teach you, and he teach you quite like in a practical. I can imagine being quite a vocational person. If you know what I mean. Like obviously, I mean you have to be a really good engineer, but like he has that sort of kind of like Scotty as well. Like, and I guess like Chief O'Brien, a whole I don't know this like not necessarily laid back, but this like this working class sort of attitude where he's more on his feet, I guess, more, and he's still very intelligent, if you know what I mean. So he's like, he's a very practical person, but his theory as well is very tight up there. He knows what he's doing, from, like I said, from the back of his hand. So I'm going to say Charles Tucker Trip. I think he's very reliable. He's the man. As soon as something goes wrong, Trip, he is like he goes into flight mode. He's there to sort it out. He is. It's something about his energy as well.
He does. Like you say, his passion as well. What I like about Trip is the fact that, like you say, he's very intelligent, very vocational and practical. Especially, that's quite useful. Obviously, in Enterprise, technology then wasn't as advanced as it was in, say, Chief O'Brien's time.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the technology is quite, I don't want to say basic, but early on, like the fact that he's able to make this engine. It's his. That's like, a very, very valuable trait that you would have on your ship. So good choice. Also, I've noticed as well, like it's quite, because not all of the engineers throughout Star Trek, but this is just something I just weirdly thought of, is it's quite weird that like Scotty has a Scottish accent. My choice, Chief O'Brien, is Irish, and your choice, Trip, has a very deep American,
it's like Southern Florida, isn't it? Yeah.
Florida accent. It's just mad that all the engineers. I mean, not all of them, but quite a few of the engineers throughout Star Trek have a distinctive accent.
Yeah.
Which is just a weird.
I think it's like it's. I don't get me wrong. I don't really like to bring class into it or anything like that. But but I think it does though. It's like a working class hero sort of job, isn't it? And I'm being working class as you think about people with strong accents, isn't it? I think that's just just the thing that we see in television. And I just think the engineers have always had this, which I don't think so. But I think it's good to celebrate that in a way. Though I think it's great. Again. It's,
I wasn't trying to suggest.
Yeah.
It's just something that I noticed.
Do you know? I didn't even think, because obviously when you said about Tucker, obviously building the engine, I didn't even think of that myself. But obviously that's how much he knows about it as well. He can build it. And he's done it. So I'm definitely happy with my choice. I think Charles Tucker,
great choice.
Yeah.
So Chief O'Brien for me.
Charles Tucker for me. Trip.
Yeah, awesome.
So medical doctor.
Medical doctor. For me, this was a no-brainer for me. I don't know why. When I was like picking, it was one of the first I put in my list actually, because he's one of my. Probably my favorite doctor. So for my doctor from Star Trek Enterprise, I've gone for Dr. Phlox. Brilliant. I just like the idea of having a member from an alien species as my chief medical officer. I don't know why. I think it's just
I'm not
something.
surprised actually. You've said him for some reason. I was guessing you were going to say him.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was watching Enterprise, I instantly clicked with Dr. Phlox. He has that instant charisma and charm that all doctors, I think, should have. But like I said, I love the idea of having a member from an alien species as my chief medical officer, especially Dr. Phlox, because throughout Enterprise, he kind of seems to know a lot about various different alien races, and is very sort of knowledgeable about different sort of diseases, and how to how I could treat that or stuff. But a lot like Chief O'Brien, he's very good at when he encounters when Dr. Phlox encounters like a new alien race, he kind of doesn't shy away from the fact that he's not dealt with it before. He's very good at finding a way to work with stuff that he's not sort of encountered before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's very
well, he compares them a lot, doesn't he? Like, he's very good at taking a step back and going like, well, it's very similar to this race or whatever, And
no, absolutely. And so I think he's just, like I say, I think that's a very valuable trait to have, especially if we're going through space and seeking out new life. I think Dr. Phlox, is brilliant. And what I like about him as well is that he's quite like I say, charismatic and warm and very accommodating. He in himself, he's quite excuse me, he's quite innocent. Like I think there's an episode where it's just after the Xindi attack on Earth, and that they're on Earth, and he's in that bar with I can't remember now. I want to say like Trip and
okay. Yeah.
And there's a lot of xenophobia going around because of the Xindi attack, like to do with aliens, and he can blow himself up, like that.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that he's quite innocent and quite what's the word? Quite not. I can't think of the word. Again, I always do this, don't I? I always forget words. But he's quite.
Do you mean that he always has the higher ground sort of thing?
Yeah, you kind of feel sorry for him in a way. I quite like that. He's quite. He's quite. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He's the fact that people pick on him, but he's still able to sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, he's able to take the higher ground. He's able to just ignore it and go, you know what, I'm a doctor. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
He's very.
It kills him with kindness, sort of stuff, isn't it?
Kills him with kindness. Yes, I love that. I love that. I try to live my life by that phrase. It's funny you should say that. I love that phrase. So yeah, that's Dr. Phlox. Just my choice. I think he's very, like I say, lovable and very knowledgeable about different alien species. And yeah. There was something else I was going to say about him, but it's gone because I couldn't remember the last thing. So if I remember it, then I'll.
Yeah. If it comes to you, just say definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, Chief Dr. Phlox.
Dr. Phlox, yeah, no, that's a good choice, definitely. So for me, it took me a while to think of this. Actually, I went for like 3 different doctors. And I finally chose. Basically, I was thinking of the doctor I would like to see. I was trying to think of it. If I had to see a doctor, who would I want to treat me?
That's really, I mean, I think that's how I picked Dr. Phlox. I think I would love to go, and I would love him to be my GP. Like, you know what I mean? So,
and I chose Julian Bashir from DS9. I just find him very he's very informative.
Mhm.
You know, he's a very bright man. So if you ever spoke to him, you know he's very well educated. He knows what he's talking about, but also he's very warm. I find as well with him. Like, so he can be a bit awkward personally. I've noticed like in episodes, and there's sometimes I'm like, oh, he's a bit awkward. But I can, as a medical professional though, very approachable, and he just has this like he's explaining something to you. I can imagine being very engaging, and that's what I like about doctors who are very engaging, and also Julian Bashir I find is very passionate about his work as well in medicine.
Yeah, yeah. I find sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but when you go to the doctors and they're like with a problem and they
Mm.
explain stuff to you, but you don't always get it, but
Yeah,
you're too polite to say, "Oh, actually, I don't get it.
yeah,
What's wrong with me? I don't get what you're trying to say." I
hmm
think with Julian Bashir, he would give you every single detail
and
and
I
then
think
ask to get it and
yeah.
then
Oh,
find a
definitely.
way.
And
Yeah,
he wouldn't embarrass you or whatever. He wouldn't like go, oh, you don't know what that means, or he would just go, oh, okay. So think of it like this, that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I just think, yeah, like I said, like when you go and see some, like I don't know. I mean, I've had experiences. I mean, I had well, it's like everyone. I don't really mind. I had an accident last year, obviously, with my elbow, and there were some doctors. Obviously, I'm not going to name any. Obviously, I'm not going to name any names or anything. I'm just saying. I noticed there are some doctors in the world, just say, just generally, who I don't know. Maybe they've just done the same job for a few decades, and they get very like in out. Yep, that's what you need, and they I guess they sort of not necessarily lose the care, but there's just sort of this caring element they don't seem to have anymore, if you know what I mean. I think it's because their job becomes just their job and they've done it for so many years, maybe. I don't know, not all doctors are like that, of course, but I like doctors who are very, like I said, very engaging. And also they seem to like use the same amount of energy for all their patients, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I like. And the head surgeon, I think it was the doctor who helped me out a lot with I had an accident with my elbow, basically. So people wonder what I'm on about. He was
Well, I know the
very,
whole story, so
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
just for
our
our
listeners
listeners.
don't. Yeah.
He was very passionate though, and very he had this like obviously this was quite a serious procedure I had on my arm, to make sure I got it
Yeah.
back. Like, it was my elbow. I need the elbow dislocated, so I need to go back in, And he was very like passionate about, he was like, yeah, we're gonna get in there now. We're gonna sort this out. This is what we're gonna do. And he was like, even though what happened was obviously was bad for me, and I was devastated. Obviously, he to him it was like an opportunity like to do
Okay.
something. I don't know. That's what I
Yeah.
found with him. Like, and
I
he
think
was like
yeah,
excited, like, oh yeah, like
yeah.
he doesn't get that often, like, and he's excited that he's gonna do it, and he's confident he can do it, and because it was quite a
Okay.
hard job. Like it was, I had surgery for like 6 hours, or whatever, and he was very excited though that
Yeah.
he was gonna get in there and sort it out, and this is how we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be fine, and I find, I don't know, Julian Bashir to be a bit like that. Like he'd be very, excited
Mm.
and he's always up for learning as well. He's all about learning all the time.
Yeah,
Even though
that's
he's,
weird. I was about to say that about
yeah.
him. Yeah. Weird.
So it's something he has. He gives off this energy, this excitement,
Mm.
this
Yeah.
and also it's just the way he talks as well. Like I love the way he talks. Like he's just got this nice, polite English accent, and it's just
Yeah.
but it's great though. I would love him just to read a book to me. Is that sort of it's easy to
Very
listen to.
reassuring.
Yeah,
Because,
reassuring, and with that
oh, I
smile
love
as
that
well.
part. Just going back to your, I mean, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up because wasn't there a chance that you could have lost your lower
Yeah,
arm?
yeah, it
And
was.
I kind of think that because I remember you telling me about it, and I won't go into details what you told me, but obviously that's quite scary
Yeah, yeah.
to to comprehend. But I think having that reassurance of your surgeon,
Uh-huh.
I guess that made you feel a little bit better. And it's
It
like having
did. Yeah, it really did.
so
Because
you need that in a doctor. You need that in the
that
doctor as a
spring,
surgeon.
like sort of thing, isn't it? That
Yeah, yeah,
spring. That yeah, that always eager to learn, always, even though he hasn't done it before, he's going to do it, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am a
exactly.
medical professional. I know what I'm doing, sort of thing. And
It's
yeah,
interesting you said about sort of he saw it as an opportunity, because that is again Dr. Bashir, like you say,
hmm
that he sees everything as an opportunity. He's eager to try new things, and yeah, very eager to sort of help people, and eager to sort of make them better,
yeah.
make them better. Yeah,
And he still has this sort of, like doctor's orders, and he will tell you straight, that's doctor's orders. He
yeah.
still has that. So he's not, obviously, he won't let you do whatever you want. If he needs to take control, he'll take control.
Mm.
But I think because the way he is, you listen to him, he's like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He definitely does. And also with Dr. Bashir, what we got to remember is he is also, he was genetically engineered as a child, wasn't he? So he also got
Yes,
that quality as well. Actually, I know he doesn't really use it, but I mean,
I quite
imagine,
like that. I like
yeah,
how he doesn't play on that. He doesn't sort
mm,
of he doesn't sort of go, well, just because I'm genetically engineered doesn't mean I'm better than you. I'm a
yeah,
better doctor or
yeah, exactly.
person. Yeah,
But to
I
have
like
that,
that
I
about
think, in your crew, and like, even though, like I said, he wouldn't really use it, but I mean, if he had to use it for whatever reason, or he had to,
yeah.
I mean, it's a quality, isn't it, at the end of the day as well, and it is a quality to have, on your in your crew, I think, even to have
Mm,
that. So yeah, I'm going for Julian Bashir.
awesome.
Yeah,
No, good choice. Good choice. I think both good choices. Dr. Flox
yeah,
for me, Dr. Bashir for you. Excellent.
yeah. So
Moving on then.
the nurse, is it? We going for the nurse?
Yes. So I originally when I was thinking about I couldn't think of a nurse who I would have. And then I thought about having um, this isn't an honourable mention, but I'll bring her up anyway. Is Kess from Voyager?
Mm-hmm.
But then I realised how much it took me a while to warm to Kess because I found her a bit annoying at first.
Yeah, same here.
And then I couldn't really think of a nurse to to um, to go alongside Dr. Flox. But then I thought of um, from the original series, Nurse Chappelle, or I think I'm
There's
saying that right,
Chapel, yeah,
Chappelle,
or Chapel, yeah.
played by Mrs. Roddenberry. Um, yeah, Nurse Chappelle, just because I think the way she works with Bones, Dr. McCoy on the original series is kind of she's all right. She's the nurse, but she kind of has this. I mean, you probably might agree, you might not agree. She kind of sees herself level with Dr. McCoy in a way. She's not afraid to sort of, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
you know how it's like it's the doctor and then it's like the sidekick nurse. I don't think you get that with Nurse Chappelle. I think she would gel quite nicely with Dr. Flox.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, and she's very, yeah, like very, very charming and very. I mean, we don't see a lot of her, but she's not a main character in the original series. But I liked her. I liked sort of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
seeing her. She's very caring as well, and like I say, she's not. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but like I say, she's very good at leveling herself out with. There's times where she doesn't necessarily stand up to Dr. McCoy, but she does. I think bring herself onto the. She's not afraid to sort of go. Well, I am a medical professional. I do, know stuff. I am capable of helping, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like I said, I think she would gel nicely with Dr. Flox. I think Dr. Flox would get a lot from her, but also Dr. Flox won't sort of see her as his sidekick. He would be happy to have Nurse Chappelle by his side. So, like I said, I don't have a lot to say about her, but that's who I would choose. She's very, yeah, like I say, charming and very welcoming, and she's kind of like a. I don't want to bring age into it, but being an older lady, I think it would be
Yeah,
quite nice
yeah.
to have that sort of like I said, like you were saying, sort of, if I was, a patient in the sick bay, having Dr. Phlox do his medical stuff, and then, I would quite like her there as, tending to,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
it's kind of like, you probably had, was your arm in the cast? I can't remember.
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
You know how you have like auxiliary nurses? Like I always was it last year? Can't remember now. I basically had hernia surgery, I think last year.
Uh-huh.
And the people who sort of clean up after the operation, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of help bring you round, like because you would have been put to sleep, I guess, would you?
Yeah, I was put to sleep.
Yeah. So like in my hernia surgery, obviously they put me to sleep, and like how you have the nurses like help you wake up, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like that the kind of like that nice sweet attitude, and they sort of they come around and test you. I don't know if you have the signs. They come around every so often and test you.
Yeah. They check on the
all the vital signs and stuff. I think Nurse Chappelle would be great at that. I think she would have all those qualities. But also, if like Dr. Phlox was sort of incapacitated or whatever, I think I could still rely on her to sort of take the main role as the medical officer.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So,
well, it's interesting you say that, because I think it's pronounced Chapel, by the way. I quite like Chappelle, though. I like you say Chappelle.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they say Nurse Chappelle in
Christine Chapel, yeah.
Chapel. I don't know. I'll have to go back and.
Isn't that how you spell chapel as well?
That is how you spell chapel, yes.
Yeah. Oh, or maybe you are right, as in I don't know. I've always called it Christine Chapel, but the thing about with Christine Chapel, I guess, is she's quite what's the word? A minor character, isn't she? As well, she's not really, like a main character like Captain Kirk, obviously, or Spock. And talking about Christine Chapel, she's also actually my nurse as well.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So I nearly forgot to mention that. I was just sort of already being a minor character. Like, I better mention she's actually my choice.
Imagine if you hadn't mentioned it.
I know. I was like, so what's yours then? Oh, yeah, so. She's my choice. And quite a lot of what you said, actually, her being this sort of, like I said, like an older woman as well. Sort of, I guess, an older woman, especially a female who is, older than yourself, sort of treating you kind of like it's kind of like a mothering sort of treatment, isn't it? I think maybe that's why we go for that. I don't know. As men, is that why we go for that? Because that has a sort of like mother sort of element to it. I don't know.
I think you're right there. Yeah. I think it's that sort of.
Because actually, one of the nurses, funny you said about you use your example being in hospital. I remember when I was in hospital, the nurse said, "Oh, you're a lot like my son." She kept saying that all the time. So it's quite I think they naturally have this sort of mother sort of this, I guess, approach to being a nurse.
Yeah, I think I almost don't want to say this, but like I think when we think of nurse, we automatically think of females, but it's quite interesting because obviously men can be nurses as well. But I think that's quite. I think that's what you're trying to say, is we automatically.
But I think the reason we've chose her though as well, and a woman as well, just me and you, is because we wanted a balance between the doctor and the nurse. Like if it was a female doctor, let's say, we chose Beverly Crusher, we might have chosen, like, Paris can be a nurse as well, can't he? So we may have chosen Paris instead. But also we've both gone for males, and I think Christine is just perfect. And also what you said about her, like, taking control. There's actually some examples actually in the original series where she actually takes over the medical bay because McCoy can't. And at the time, you got to think that's a big thing. A woman, so a woman taking control, and she did. She took control of the whole medical bay. So, yeah,
probably why I chose her, because I think subconsciously I probably subconsciously thought that. I can't quite call an
Yeah.
episode. But I think I can.
So
Consciously.
she's definitely a character, yeah, who has a lot of experience and who can easily step up her game if she needs to and take over. Like she knows the medical bay just as good as the doctor does, sort of thing, Like I was thinking of Kes as well, and again the whole thing with Kes annoying me. I thought of that, but also with Kes, I thought Kes would be good to have there as well. I think as a nurse, maybe not the head nurse, though, but she'd be good to have there.
No.
As in, Kes is very good at like following instructions and like learning. Kes is a very quick learner, so she's brilliant for that. Like in surgery, Kes will do it, but you need someone I think who can like step up. And I think Christine, she can just step up and do it, And I think that's another reason why we might have chose her. So look at that, she made both our ships. Look at her.
That is really
yeah.
awesome.
So she's obviously for a minor character as well. She's obviously had a massive impact. Otherwise, unbelievable. Right, and helmsman.
Helmsman. So for my helmsman, I've probably gone for again one that you'd probably guess that I would go for. From Star Trek Voyager, I've gone for Tom Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something about that.
All right.
I think. I think for me, like on a personal note, I always looked up to him when I was watching. When I first, when I was younger, I always looked up to him. I guess because as mentioned on previous podcasts, obviously being a racing fan and stuff, he got to fly this amazing ship, and I think, he's just a very good pilot. And I think there is an episode where I think B'Elanna's just given birth, and it's at the same. Oh, it might be the last episode actually, because Tom needs to fly them through the to get back to Earth.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That I guess gateway. Well, not gateway, but how they get back to it.
Yeah.
So B'Elanna says, because he wasn't going to leave her side after giving birth, was he?
No.
But B'Elanna says to him, "Oh, we need, Voyager's best pilot or Starfleet's best pilot at the helm." I think she's right. I think he is up there with one of the best pilots in Starfleet. The fact that he, can control Voyager through, the Delta Quadrant throughout, unknown sort of phenomena. And the fact that he gets Voyager home as well, like not drives, but he's at the forefront of, getting them safely back through Borg, gateway or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think I chose him more on a personal note, for the main reason being, just because I always looked up to him, and he's so passionate about his craft again. The fact that he spends so much time on making the Delta Flyer. That's again, it's kind of like what the engine is to Trip. Is good
point.
The Delta Flyer is to Tom. He's so passionate about it,
and
the fact that he creates it, with like joysticks and stuff from his Captain Proton, sort of based on Captain Proton type era.
Yeah. He's very creative, isn't he? Actually, yeah.
He's very creative. But the fact, he can pretty much take to any sort of new vessel like a duck to water, and he's got like Trip. He's that boyish charm sort of, but he's very good at making friends, and very very inclusive. I think again when him and B'Elanna get together, he does calm down a little bit, but obviously
yeah.
But sort of because he gets demoted, doesn't he? So
that's right. Yeah.
But no, I think he's just a very good pilot, and like I say, I think I chose him more on a personal note because I always looked up to him as a racing fan, and
Okay,
So
yeah. So you link that with your, your passion for Formula One as well, isn't it? Your
yeah,
interest in that as well. So
I think
yeah,
if Tom Paris was sort of in our era, I don't know if they'd have Formula One in like the 24th century, but I think he would also be like a racing fan or like a
well,
motorsport
they do
fan.
have a race, don't they?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I've
yeah,
mentioned that
yeah.
episode. I can't remember what episode podcast that was, but I think I mentioned
Yeah,
that.
I think you did, yeah, because you were talking about obviously it reminds you of like obviously Formula One and all
Yeah,
that, isn't it?
so
So
I think
yeah,
for me that would be that the reasons.
yeah,
Very good, trustworthy pilot, I think.
uh-huh.
In fact, like I say, the fact that they're in the Delta Quadrant, unknown phenomena, I'm gonna trust him to be my great helmsman.
Yeah. So for me, um, it's exactly the same. It's Tom Paris.
Really?
Yeah. Now, for me though, I think I'm different than you. It wasn't very like your choice seemed more like it was more personal. Mine's more tactical, I think. The way I saw it, like I said, I wanted obviously the best,
Yeah.
and the way I saw it, he's the only helmsman I know of who's travelled in Warp 10.
Yeah.
And I wanted that. I was like, and again, he built the Delta Flyer. One thing I love about Tom Paris as well is that he's one. I think he's one of them people who thinks, rules are there, but rules are also there to be broken sometimes. And the idea that rules sometimes you need to bend the
Yeah.
rules in order to get things done,
Yeah.
which I think is a very good characteristic to have. So he's very good at judging. He won't just do something because the captain says. If he thinks it's danger and he really believes that it's dangerous, he will, he'll move to one side or wherever with the ship. He won't do it basically. And obviously, some say, you can say, oh, he's not following the rules of the captain and all that. But sometimes I think you sort of have to go against that in order to if you do anything by the book, sometimes that can be just as dangerous as being reckless, I guess. You know what I mean? So to me, he has a perfect balance. So yeah, and also again with Tom Paris, I think he's just he'd be great socially as well on the ship. He's always up for a party, always up for like a drink sort of thing. I can
Yeah.
imagine Trip getting on with him. I imagine Julian Bashir would enjoy. I'm sure
Well,
Julian
yeah, the
Bashir
fact that
would
you've
get
got,
involved in Captain
because you've
Proton.
got, thinking about it, you've got Tom Paris and Trip on both on this in your crew, so I think
Yeah,
you'd have a great time with them.
yeah,
I think and obviously Dr. Bashir, those three.
yeah, Dr. Bashir, he would up for.
You,
I'm sure.
you have a fun ship so far.
Yeah, I think he would definitely have a laugh in the holodeck, with. And I think that's important, though.
Yeah, no,
Is
absolutely.
the social side of it as well. But again, like I said, I did actually choose him mainly on his his flying ability. The idea that you say he flew at Warp 10. I mean, if you're gonna pick, if you see on a CV, oh, I'm the only person
Yeah,
in the known galaxy or whatever who can fly at Warp 10. It's like, all right then. Do you want a pay
yeah.
rise? It's you want him on your team, don't you? So yeah, I'm going for Mr. Tom Paris. Welcome on board. Yeah,
Excellent. On he comes.
here he comes. So head of security.
Head of security. Well, he's not. He's for me. He's not a Starfleet officer, but I've chosen him as my head of security anyway. From Star Trek DS9, I've gone for Odo.
Ah,
Because I know he's not a security officer like in the Federation, but he is, I guess, head of security at
yeah, yeah,
DS9.
yeah. No, I'm happy with that.
Again, I like the idea of having a member of an alien species as my senior, on my senior staff. I love Odo. He's so great, and I think from a security point of view, he's the one that I would want the most because he can. Well, he's a changeling, so he can, change into various different, well, all sorts really. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
He's a very good sleuth. Is a good word. He's very he he will leave no stone unturned. He's always very skeptical of, even like he's always very skeptical of Quark. He knows that Quark is untrustworthy. He's always got one eye on Quark. But I love the fact that he can just see things outside the box, I guess, as well. Like, especially from a security point of view, like if you know, if something needs solving on my ship, or if like I don't know, a crime's taken place, a serious crime's taken place, he can think outside the box and he can bring new ideas to his investigation. And like I say, he will leave no stone unturned. He will get to the bottom of a mystery.
Yeah.
You know how like some detectives can just sort of, you know, just but well, that's unsolvable, I'm going to leave that alone now. So from that point of view, he's very good. Like I say, the fact that he's a shapeshifter, he can change into various different things, would be quite useful, I think.
Yeah.
Not because I would want people to like, I don't want my crew going around spying on various aliens that we're trying to meet or whatever. But I think from a tactical point of view, I think, you know, having him as my head of security, because he can change into various different things. So again, the episode I just recently watched, he kind of went from he was like a chalice and then turned himself into a rat or whatever. Or
Yeah.
Or he was a box and then turned himself into a rat or something like that. I don't know.
Well, if the ship is like hijacked, you know, he can be anything, can't he? And he can like hide around and
exactly.
got the Jeffries tubes and all that, and
So I think from that point of view, definitely a good quality to have. But on the other side of it as well, you wouldn't want to mess with him. He's really tough, and you know, he's very. He's always trying to like not stand up to Sisko, but he's very. I don't want to say passionate about security, but he's also. He's very mindful of the security aboard the station. If like Sisko's bringing on a new, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Trying to say, but you know, I'm the head of security. I need to be informed. It's me. I'm the one that needs to be.
You
know, in charge of this. This is a security matter. It's me. You know, he's very forceful in that aspect. I find the fact that he makes a big thing of being head of security. I like that.
I definitely say he's passionate though, like you said, because I think he's always on time as well, isn't he? He's always
very what's the word for that? Very punctual.
Yeah, punctual. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's definitely Odo. Yeah, punctual. Yeah. Oh, he is.
I love Odo. He's good. He's a great character, and I like I say, for me, head of security. He's got so many qualities of a good chief of security for me. So that's why I've chosen.
Awesome. Well, I've gone for a character originally on TNG. Then he moved over to DS9. I'm going for Worf.
Excellent.
I just love the idea of a Klingon. I'm sure Captain Picard loved the idea. That's where he made Worf, obviously chief of security. A Klingon, except being the chief of security, because I think because he has this, obviously the mind of a warrior.
Yeah.
You know, he still has his Federation training, Starfleet training, and all that, but he still has this sort of warrior as well in him, where, you know, his ability to fight, his ability to take control. I think
it's almost like his Steve, isn't it? It's like it's who he is at the core.
So I think just having a Klingon, especially Worf as well. I mean, you know, if you have any prisoners, you know, I'm sure they will soon, you know, settle down if they saw Worf walk in the room, you know what I mean? Sort of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's what I like about it. I think it's just this extra strength Because I'll be honest, I was thinking of Tuvok at one point. And the reason I was thinking of Tuvok originally was because Tuvok obviously again does have no emotional response to things. So he was just thinking in black and white terms, as in logical, they broke the law. He won't necessarily fall on any moral compass as such. He'll just be like, right, no, this is security. But then he wouldn't go and let's say a prisoner spits on him or whatever, there's something horrible. I can't imagine Tuvok hitting him or something like that, be like, that you just don't do that in our jail, or what I mean. He would do it in more of a formal manner. Whereas I think Worf would probably punch his lights out. So, but then I personally wanted that trait, though. But I think I like to have my security officer. It kind of reminds me of when I was on the ship. So I work on obviously cruise ships, and one of my duties, I run the muster stations. So that's basically the places that people go to in the muster stations. So basically, we call it a muster station because they have to muster there. So basically,
it sounded like you said mustard.
Yeah, people say that all the time, man.
Okay.
Mustard. Yeah, it's actually a joke, actually, where people say, "Oh, we're going to the mustard station." They hang around the condiments. Anyway, so so you go to the muster station. It's all right. And in the muster station, we have we have certain areas of the room for certain things. That we have like a smoking area. So in an event of emergency, let's say the ship had problems, so there'll be a place where the guests can go who smoke, so they obviously can calm themselves down. Obviously, toilets and all that sort of stuff. We also have the sin bin as well, and that's basically timeout. So obviously, you can imagine there would be times where guests might flip out, or because you got to think they're under stress for I'm in charge of all this. Anyway, so hours and hours on it. Yeah. You can't imagine me.
No, I didn't mean that in an offensive way.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I know you.
I'm like Basil Fawlty, me. Anyway, they're all you can imagine me. No, anyway, they're all there, and I'm a good delegator, so I'd say. Anyway, and I'll tell you why. So all the guests are there, obviously, and some of them get quite stressed, and then you can imagine getting quite aggressive, So we have what we call the sin bin area. So it'll be a section of the room where basically they'll be taken to one side to have time out, to calm down, sort of thing. There was this guy I worked with who he used to, he's got a certificate. He used to work on the doors in London, and he's this great big fella, right? And he's brilliant. He's a really nice guy, and everyone called him Tiny, but he wasn't very tiny at all. You wouldn't want to pick a fight with him. I made Tiny, and I even called him the Chief of Security. So I actually love that title.
It's like your very own Worf.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I pictured it. I was like, because I always imagined, if anyone started on me, I'd be like, Tiny! And they're come to my rescue. So yeah, Tiny basically, I would just love the idea of a man shouting at me, and then Tiny comes and it's just like, okay. And then, but yeah, I think you need that though, that strength. And I said, he's a lovely man as well. He would never hurt anyone, deliberately, nothing like that. He really would. He is literally a BFG, soft as anything. Really is Tiny is, and they call him Tiny, and he doesn't care. But like I said, he's this great big guy, and he's just like I said, he just has this persona on him. When he needs to be, he can be quite threatening, and I think that's a quality. Again, the Worf as well. Worf can be a gentle giant as well. Again with the
absolutely
with the rest of the crew. You can have a conversation with Worf, and I find the same in a way with Tiny. Tiny, if you are listening, hello Tiny. I haven't seen you for a while. How's it been?
Hi Tiny.
Hi Tiny. So yeah, I definitely would choose Worf, and I think Tiny has been an inspiration to that. Really working on ships.
Do you have, you probably don't, or I don't know, do you have a brig on your cruise ships? Is there a little jail room?
We don't actually have a brig. There are places we can hold people in, though. I mean, we could, if we wanted to, we could lock people in their rooms and things like that. So there are ways of doing it. But no, we don't know. It's interesting. People always ask that, actually, yeah. They always ask if we have a brig, but we don't actually. Well, none of the ships I worked on, we have had a brig either. Anyway, but they're sure there are some that have brigs. But no, we don't. We do, of course, have a security team though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who
Oh,
come
I
out?
just thought I was curious as well.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons that I like working at sea. Actually, was I sort of based it on Star Trek. I always remember they were explaining things about like the ship and how it worked. I think it was like port and starboard and things like that. You know, like general things. So I was at the time I was quite new to working at sea, and I remember my answer was, "Oh yeah, it's just the same on the Enterprise." That's how I literally managed to work out, was think of it through a starship way. You know what I mean? Than a natural.
No, yeah. I would probably be the same. I'd be like, yeah.
So yeah, I'm going for Worf. Worf, welcome on board.
On he goes. An Odo for me.
An Odo for you, yes. No, two great choices, I think, definitely. So science officer.
Science officer. Again, I don't know actually if he was science officer. He might have been something else. Because originally I was going to go for Jadzia Dax. She's a great scientist. But I've gone as my science officer, I've gone for from Star Trek: The Next Generation, I've gone for Data.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he was the science officer on the
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we have it. Again, just I think if from a logical point of view, I think having an android who knows everything and like can do everything as your science officer, I think is a bit of a no-brainer. And obviously the fact that he's always trying to be human in himself anyway, I think he's just a lovable character, which we've mentioned before, and just a great addition to my crew. But from like I say, from a logical sort of, you know, to put someone in that position as a science officer, I think, you know, having an android, he can process information like that. You know, he can bring up. He's like Google. He can just sort of, you know, if I need vital information straight away, I can go to Data and be like, Data, what's this? And he can instantly tell me. And
he always seems to like come up with random definitions of things, doesn't he? Like the times I think Picard like obviously like gives him like stares like, Data, shut up, sort of thing, you know, because like, you'll go humor and he'll explain humor, you know.
yeah. What is humor?
Humor.
But no, I think, you know, Data's, you know, a very, very good scientist. A lot like you know, the engineers that we've both chosen. He's very good at sort of you know, he'd be very good at sort of experiments and sort of, you know, analysing. You know, he's a very good analyst. You know, and I think if he could experience, you know, I mean, well, I know he can experience emotions with the emotional chip, but I think if he was human, he could experience emotions. He would love science. He would be a great sort of professor at a university to have in science, like to learn from Data. You know, I think it's just, like I said, just a no-brainer to have Data as your science officer.
Yeah.
You know, he knows everything, and he would be great in a crisis to have in a crisis, but also in terms of, you know, someone to have there, just as an outside eye, because like I say, he's not human. He can't experience emotions. So as an outside eye, he can, a bit like the Vulcans in a way, isn't it? It's sort of like that sort of person on your shoulder type thing. Yeah, I think information is what I get.
Well, so my science officer, I've actually gone for Data as well. So again, I agree with everything what you said. Again, information. You know, like definitely, like I said, a walk-in sort of encyclopedia sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah. But also, though, he's always eager to learn. Like, even though he is a walking encyclopedia, he also he still wants more
Yeah.
data. And I think I always imagine like computers and are always like information. They always want more information, more and more and more and more. And they're always asking for more information. And the computer now is record information. I mean, that's all about it wants information,
Yeah.
and it runs on information. And data. Well, data is named after data, information.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how good is that? That he is literally information. I just think, yeah, like you said, the idea of a robot and android doing it as well. I think, like the idea he could technically run 24/7. He wanted to. I mean, he does have his rest hours, but he can get so much done. And I think it's just his, like I said, he knows lots of things. Obviously, like I say, he's like a walking encyclopedia. But like I said, he's always eager to learn new things. He's always fascinated. He always seems to have that sort of Spock element, fascinating. He always has that thing of everything.
Yeah, I would like him. Yeah.
So I've gone for data for that sort of reason as well. I think him being an android and always up to learn, and also because he learns like all like the social stuff as well. I just think that's just again another fun element in him. Like I always think when people always talk about data, I always think of I don't know if you've seen it. It's the College Humor clip when it's like Star Wars versus Star Trek, and who's nerdier? It's like who's nerdier, and then and then basically I think Lord Vader says something to Picard like you're all nerds, there's no action. And then Picard goes, yes, Star Trek got lots of action. And then Data comes and goes, hey Captain, can I invite you to my piano recital, or or my poetry recital, or whatever it is? And it's like, what? And it's like, oh not now, Data. And it's true, that's literally lots in Star Trek. Is there's a lot of hours killed with Data just like being in a play or like playing a violin or reciting a poem. But that's great though. It makes him, again, it's him exploring what it means to be human, isn't it? And all that. So it's that element as well that I just love to have on board. And also he's hilarious. Like he's so, even when he doesn't know he's funny, he's just so funny.
And I think that's what makes him funny, the fact that he doesn't know he's funny.
Yeah. And again, he's a walking computer. I mean, how could you not want that on your team? A walking computer who just soaks up information, and yeah, definitely. So I think we definitely think in the same way there with Science Officer Commander Data, definitely.
Awesome. Mr. Data, come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
And communications.
For me, I've gone for an interesting choice. I think I don't think she's spoke of a lot, but my communications officer from Star Trek Enterprise, I've gone for Hoshi.
Oh, okay.
Again, simply because she, the thing I love about Hoshi is that she doesn't know how good she is. Especially like she questions whether she wants to go out into outer space, obviously at sort of beginnings of Enterprise, and the fact that she takes a time with becoming accustomed to going out into space. But she's so good at what she does. The thing I love is that she can speak so many languages because she's a linguist, really. That's why Archer picks her. And it's why I would pick her. Like the fact that she's so good at, again, she can speak so many languages, but also learn new languages. She's very good at, learning new tongues and different ways of speaking, and not just in terms of other languages and alien languages. She would be very useful at sort of. She's a very good liaison, I think. She'd be very useful at sort of, if I was having, meetings with a new race or a hostile race or species or alien, I would want Hoshi there just to sort of like Deanna Troi, I guess, in the fact that she would be great at sort of like a great addition to have in like terms of calming everything down. Sort of a good, like I say, yeah, just good liaison. You know, it's like, I mean, the post is for communication. She's very good at communicating. But I love the fact that she doesn't realize how good she is. I quite like that.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And she really comes into her own. I really like Hoshi. And she's very good in the mirror universe episodes.
Yeah.
She ends up leading the alliance, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So again, she's very useful. Knows a lot of languages, and very good at learning new languages.
She learns it in minutes, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's got a good ear.
Yeah.
Good ear for languages and sort of determining what languages which, how to speak as well.
It's when she's learning the Zindi language, when she's learning like the insect and the aqua, people as well. It's
like just different. Like she's very good at listening to like intonations of words and sort of how to speak. I love her. She's great, and so I think she would be a very good aboard my ship as my communications officer.
I think that's a really good choice. Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, she kind of like Flux. She's very, she adaptable and she gets. Like I said, she literally listens to a language and then she'll work it. And again, like you said, she doesn't realize how good she is because she does sort of like panic sometimes, and it's like, you don't need to panic. You know what you're doing. And she always does. So I think definitely that's a good choice. Yeah. So my communications now, I don't know if I've cheated or this is against the rules. I don't know. Okay, but okay. So mine's a DS9 character.
Okay.
I've gone for Jadzia Dax. I'm not sure she's ever. I'm sure she probably. I'm not sure she actually have done the role as in we've seen it on TV. I don't remember her really doing it. However, I'm sure not necessarily Jadzia, but Dax anyway has had the experience in the past. So Jadzia anyway, I think. So the actual Jadzia herself is just a very good communicator as it is. I mean, she's got a very well spoken woman. She actually got one of my. Again, I think just the way she talks. I love the way she talks. Just when even if whether they're like debating something, in a serious scene, with the in a battle scene or whatever, or they're at Quark's bar or whatever. She always, I don't know, she just has a voice I just love to listen to. So it was that as well, like a personal thing that I just love the sound of her voice. And also, I think it was just because of Dax being over 900 years old. I think she has a lot of experience, and a lot of alien races we might encounter, the chances are Dax has encountered them in the past or knows of them.
Or been one.
Yeah, or been one, exactly. So I put her as my communications because I just think she has the voice. So I think she can communicate. She's great to have as the voice of the ship.
She's very calm, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very calm. And I think she's got, Dax anyway has got a lot of experience, a lot of previous experience in 900 years of galaxy experience that the ship can use, and to how to communicate with all different races. These are the things. These is how they communicate. Which I think is important. Obviously, communication surely isn't just talking. Obviously, talking different languages. Yes, I understand that, and also talking, on screen and all that. On the ships and stuff. But also, I think communications as well is how you communicate with them, like their etiquettes, their culture. So how like Klingon ceremonies or whatever, Vulcan ceremonies, anything like that. Dax, I think the chances are Dax will know because Dax has either been one or has seen one or you know, at some point, the 900 years of being alive, I'm sure would have come across it somewhere, you know. So I think, yeah. So again, kind of like this sort of Excitopedia in a way. I'm trying to get at is sort of like database that Dax has stored in that the ship can use when communicating with other races or other powers around the galaxy. And again, I just think just great on the phone as well, really. You know, has the voice for it, really.
He does have that sort of cool sense of voice.
I mean, surely communications is the voice of the ship, isn't it? Surely, you know, that's the idea. Yeah. So the voice of the ship, I think, would be great for Jadzia Dax, and also a friend for Worf as well.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Oh, I love their relation. I love their relation. He became much less of he became much less of a insert bad word here after falling in love with her. I think he was a bit of a he was a bit of a word for a male penis.
Yeah.
Male penis. He was a bit of a
Yeah.
And when he got with Dax, he calmed down.
Absolutely, I think Jadzia really did calm him down.
But I love their relation. I love what they did with it. I love that.
But I think Jadzia as well, Dax is a good like negotiator as well. Like if, you know, because obviously I know the captain does a lot of negotiating, but I mean the idea that the communications can do it as well. I think Jadzia has that voice, has that knowledge as well, and just a perfect to have on the team. And again, I think she'd get on well with a lot of the other crew members, especially Worf, obviously.
Especially Worf.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got Julian as well. Like she gets on. He's got a great friendship with Julian.
Yeah.
So a great choice, and I agree with everything you've said.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if she's ever done it, but you're more than welcome to be communications on my ship.
I mean, it's your ship. You can have whoever you like.
Captain Neelix. Right. So we go to first officer.
First officer, yes. It's weird. I couldn't. I mean, I quite like all of the first officers, really. But one that again isn't necessarily talked about a lot, probably for a specific reason, because I'll just tell you who I've gone for, and then I'll explain after. My choice, first officer from Star Trek Discovery, is Saru. Again, mainly I picked him because he's from a very interesting race, alien species, and I just I wanted someone who was just who could like mix up the crew, in terms of species. I don't want all humans and stuff.
Yeah.
I think obviously a lot of people don't like Discovery, so it's not talked about a lot. But I like Discovery personally. I really like Saru. He is very very authoritative, but also he's very, like I've said before in previous podcasts, Star Trek is all about family, and I think Saru really, especially in season 2, at the end of season 2, he really, gets the crew behind. He's good at sort of amassing the crew behind him. He can quickly gain support, and very adaptable as well. I think he's great, and the fact that his species can sense death as well, I think is a very good trait to have. He's a very, like I say, very level-headed person, and I think he would gel with the person I've gone for as my captain. Obviously, we're not on captain yet, but I think he would gel really nicely with my captain.
It's Neelix, isn't it? I'm joking.
Yeah. How did you know? I love Saru. I think he's just a great character. He gets on with a lot of he gets on with everyone of the Discovery, not just sort of the bridge crew, but I guess he's well looked up to. Do you know what I mean? He's well looked up to, and I think he's just. I could delegate a lot of, or my captain could delegate a lot of responsibility to Saru, He's very trustworthy, and like I say, I love the idea of just having, just Saru as my first officer, like a member of a different alien species, and I get, I mean, obviously being Discovery, but a species that we've never heard of or seen before.
Is it Calgions? Is it or something like that? Calgon? What are they called?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Oh, no, Calgon, something like Calgon.
Let me do a Google.
Yeah. Well, as you Google it, I was going to say about Saru. I like how, like you said, like from a different race, and also his race were like on their planet. Like if you remember, they were like second-class citizens, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
well, they're bred to serve the other species on the planet, isn't it?
But it's the idea of they're like second-class citizens, and I mean that's kind of it's quite interesting because again, like you said, the idea of race, and it's the idea of like his race were like a lower race where in his world, and it's the idea like you can tell he's a very strong character, how he worked his way up the ranks through Starfleet and became the first officer and commands all these other races.
And acting captain at the end of the season. So
from a background, Calpian. That's it. I knew it was Game of Sea.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's just got a great aura about him. He's got a great quality of first. He's a quality first officer, and I wanted to pick someone a bit different. Sort of, I didn't want to go with like Riker or Chakotay, or I thought I'm gonna go with Saru. I think he'd be a great addition to have. He would be, looking at the rest of my roster there, he would be great as a first officer.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a good choice. Definitely a good choice, yeah. No, I like that. Very good, very good. So for my first officer, I've gone for the first officer. I've gone, of course, for Mr. Spock.
I'm glad that you have.
Yeah. Reason being, Mr. Spock. He's Mr. Spock. He is the man. He's. I think again, like we were saying about the whole, Vulcan on your shoulder thing. Spock is just perfect for that. He always has reasons of he always is a logical Jim, and all that. And he again, I guess. What you said about the whole race thing as well, the idea, like especially in the original series, obviously you had the Vulcans. He was the only Vulcan on the bridge, and sometimes he had to command the ship, so they got a little bit of that to it as well. But I just think with Spock, he is just he's mainly, obviously he's calm, he gets the job done, he's very passionate about his job. He also had this half human element in him as well, which I love about Spock as well. He still has a lot of human in him because obviously his mother, but he also is a very proud Vulcan. And I've gone for Spock because I think it's just the whole logical thinking. I love Vulcans being first officers like Tuvok as well. It's the idea that they're logical thinkers. And just like I said, the whole Vulcan on your shoulder thing. I just think, to me, Spock is that. Spock is, all first officers really are based on Spock. You can argue, obviously, because
I was about to just bring you up on that. Yeah. The fact that you refer to him as the first officer, absolutely, he is the first officer, and an awesome choice to have, like you say. I agree. I agree with everything you said. He is the first officer, and bit of a. I mean, you could say a bit of a no-brainer. But, I mean, there are other. I know I went for Saru, I know I went for Saru, but Spock's just like you say. He would be very good at. I mean, whoever you picked as your captain, I guess he would gel with whoever. He would gel with my captain. He gels with Kirk. He's. That sort of Vulcan on your shoulder type thing.
I imagine Spock being very adaptable as well to any crew as well, really, And I think Spock is just, he has that, I don't know, you just have to respect Spock, really. He's just very respectful. I mean, obviously you have like obviously Bones obviously picks on him and things like that. But then again, what's great about Spock, what makes him so, you have to love him, is just I don't know, he sort of takes it with a pinch of salt as well. So I think all Vulcans do, and I think it's great, and it's a comedy element, isn't it? Oh, you and your pointed ears, or you and your green blood, and Vulcans all seem to just take it with a pinch of salt and just just get on with it, sort of thing, don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, to me, Spock, I couldn't choose anybody else. I'm not saying I don't like anybody else, obviously, but to me, he is the first officer. He is Mr. Spock, and I need him on my team. So we're welcome on board, Mr. Spock.
On he goes.
Right then, so
the big one.
The big one, the captain of your ship.
Captain of my ship, I've gone with, from Star Trek DS9, I've gone for Captain Benjamin Sisko.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, was it baseball or
baseball?
That's it, yeah. Or what does he drink? What's that drink he always drinks? Racticino.
Oh, Racticino, yeah.
Racticino.
Yeah. Sisko.
I love Sisko. Yeah.
It's things like that I love about him. But he's very. He's a great captain, very authoritative. One thing that obviously sticks out in my mind is the fact that he does stand up to Kirk, not Kirk, Picard.
Picard, yeah. I'm sure he would stick up to Kirk as well.
He probably would, yeah. He's just a very authoritative figure, I think. He's a very, he is a dad to the whole DS9 crew.
Yeah.
But he's a great dad to, obviously, Jake.
Yeah.
So I think, again, like I say, he would gel well with Saru, but he would work well with Hoshi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like him and Hoshi working together. He's very good at bringing the best out of people.
Mm-hmm.
He brings out the best in, like, for instance, he doesn't always get on with Major Kira, but I think he brings out the best in her, and likewise.
Yeah.
So I think, he's very good at working with others, and he respects other people's opinions, and he asks for other people's opinions. He's always like, obviously other captains have a tendency to go, well, it's my way or the highway, but with Sisko, he's like, well, I need ideas, people, what can we do? He's very encompassing of other people's opinions, and I think that's a quality I'd like to have on my ship. And like I say, one thing I wanted with my crew was just an amalgamation of different races, and I think Captain Sisko is a great captain to have.
Mm-hmm.
Because he encompasses everybody. He does ask for everybody's ideas, and
mm-hmm.
he's a very good. He's very good at sort of, like I say, just working with others, and I just people look up to him, people respect him, and he's very good at sort of, coaching everybody along, and sort of,
mm-hmm. I really like actually how you got your captain and first officer there, because I'd be very interested about the kind of conversations they really could write into that, because obviously, both having, obviously, Sisko being a black man, obviously, and there being a dark history, obviously, where we had segregation, in the world where black and white was segregated, and in a way, and the idea of white supremacy, and I guess it's, and the idea of they both sort of have that in common with their, do you know what I mean? With their sort of cultural background, say.
Yes.
So, not necessarily Sisko would, has the experience himself, obviously, because obviously he's in a time, 24th century. We've moved, we're far from that, However, it's still part of his, because he talks about, isn't it? Obviously, a lot about his black history. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He talks about, and he's proud of Black history, and why not? Of course, he's gonna be proud of Black history. And it's the idea that I can imagine, that conversation coming up, and they start talking about, problems on their home world with different races, and he could talk about, well, back on Earth, in the 20th century, there was this problem with race, and it was black and white, and that would be interesting how that sort of talked about, and I would be interested in that, because what I love about science fiction is that science fiction can talk about like race and gender and all sorts of things like that's a big problem, obviously, like in our world. And it's the idea of seeing it from like a bird's eye view. Do you know what I mean? You can like discuss.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, like, have you ever seen the episode? It was at the I know you've seen them all, but the original series. Is it Name Your Battlefield or something like that? Or it's the idea. It's the two races. One side's white, one side's black.
Oh yeah.
It's the other way around. So that's what I love about science fiction is, even it's set in the future as well, they can talk about like the past problems and how things have moved on, or they can talk about a planet's problem. You know what I mean? And it's how it's so relatable to the world today. And so yeah, that's what I like. I like that. I think that'd be interesting, especially for like the writers, because they would have to explore that, surely, because it'd be interesting what can be talked about, what can be shared.
I can say Cisco and Saru would gel so well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they would get on. I think they would get on.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So so I mean, nothing else to say for Captain Sisko. I think he's brilliant. And
no, he's a great choice. A very strong character, a very strong captain to have, and everyone loves him. You gotta love Sisko. He's the man as well. To me, he's actually probably I don't know. Let's say he's just the coolest captain as well. He's just cool, Sisko? I don't know about you. I always find he's just cool.
He is cool. Yeah. He became a lot more cooler when he shaved his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he's cool. Yeah.
Awesome. He's awesome.
Right, and so me.
What about you?
Again, I had a lot to think about this. Now, my favourite captain is not the one I've chosen. My favourite captain is Captain Kirk. Yeah. I haven't chosen Kirk, though. I love Captain Kirk. However, Captain Kirk, I think he's a bit of he's too much of a lad, I think. Too much of a cowboy, really, to be on my ship.
Already got enough lads on.
I think the problem with Captain Kirk, him in Paris wouldn't do any work. They would just probably, him, Paris and Tucker, just, drink driving, and whoa. That's the problem. Yeah. I think they wouldn't get anything done. So, unfortunately, Kirk, as much as I love you, I can't. I love Kirk, I do. But I just think, they would just be at Riser all the time, They'd just be lads, wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? They'd just be...
They'd have like Starfleet phoning them up and be like, can you go to this planet? And I'm like, nah.
It's just Tom Paris and Captain Kirk is like hanging around the bar. Way. Wouldn't get any work done. We got the coolest boss, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
so you haven't gone with
I haven't gone for Kirk. But I thought about it, as you can tell. So I have actually gone for, all the way from Star Trek Voyager, Catherine Janeway.
I knew you were going to say that.
Janeway is just, to be honest, she just has this, I don't know, it's this, she has all the spectrum, as in she has like, she's got this nice, strong, authoritative, personality in her, but she also has this, because I think because she's a woman as well, she has this more gentle, feminine approach to things as well, which I love. It's not a problem at all. I absolutely love it. Like she does wear her heart on her sleeve. She really does. She really cares about her crew. Yeah. That's one thing I love about her. I mean, I remember the first few episodes where she comes across as she's going to cry, but I love that because she has human emotion. But when she needs to be badass, she is badass. She is in control, and she commands that ship, and you'll be scared of her. Even Worf would be scared of Janeway. That's what Catherine Janeway has, that sort of, like I said, this whole like Margaret Thatcher sort of characteristic in her, where like Worf, anyone, no one would you know. I think that's the reason why Tom Paris is as good as he is. Mind, I think Janeway does get a lot of good out of Tom Paris. You know, at the end of the day, Janeway did approach Tom Paris. You know, so to me, Janeway is just important to have because she's authoritative, she's strong, but also she's loving. She has that kind of like Christine Chapel element in it as well. She has this like sort of like older woman kind of like motherly sort of touch to her as well, which I love. She is the mother of the ship. She is in charge of the ship, you know, and she's just brilliant as well. Like, I mean, when she's on a, you know, like downtime, she's just a brilliant character. She's funny, you know, she's lovable. And I also think looking at her relationship as well on Voyager with her first officer on there, she would get on with Spock, no problem. I mean, she get on with Tuvok.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Spock would definitely do anything, you know, that she needed, and he would advise her. And Spock wouldn't be scared to advise her either, you know. Because he's obviously he's Vulcan. He would, you know, he would advise her, maybe we shouldn't do that, Captain. And I think she would listen to Spock as well, and I think she would respect Spock. You know, he deserves a lot of respect. So yeah, I think Captain Catherine Janeway. I just. To me, her being, like I said, I think it's just her. She's the only woman captain that we know of, or well, the main woman captain, obviously, in the whole Star Trek series. And I just think she's just perfect. She's just everything that we need. Like I said, like Kirk would be, unfortunately, he's just too much of a lad. He's just having fun. I think Sisko's great, of course, and he's your choice. But to me, I think Janeway just has all these great qualities, as in she's authoritative, she takes control, but she's also this sort of
she can also have a laugh and stuff.
And she I always find she has a bit more of like a family approach to things as well, but also still has this authority. She is in charge. She is, you know, she's the one you must listen to. And like I said, I love the idea of Worf just like trying to go against it, not on my watch or not on my ship, and then Worf was like, yes, madam. And then, you know, do you know what I mean, though? You know, she's I mean this in the nicest way, but it's the only way I can describe it, right? So I don't mean to offend, but she is literally a woman, but she's got balls. You know what I mean? She is, you know. I love that, though. I love that. That's brilliant. That's what it needs to be, and that's So she is definitely my captain.
No, I agree with everything you said. I respect Janeway. No, I agree with everything.
So that's all I got to say really about that. Have you thought of a name? Now with the names, I was thinking, right, because we're Brits.
Are we going to do random character?
Oh, sorry, random. Oh, yeah, we're going to do random characters. So I do apologize. It was me. That was, I scrolled too down. We are going to name our ship soon. That's all. Like, don't get too excited. So yeah, random character is there. For some reason, I scrolled all the way down. Okay, so yeah, random character or your +1 character. So,
character. Well, it's weird because you've got Spock as your first officer because of the whole Vulcan on your shoulder thing, and I wanted that. And I did originally put Tuvok because I love Tuvok, and I wanted to have a Vulcan on my shoulder. Then I was thinking about it, and I've actually changed my choice, if I may.
Yeah.
And so the random character I've gone for, from another one from Star Trek Discovery, and I think she's absolutely brilliant, is Ensign Tilly.
Yeah.
Just because I think she would bring a lot of fun to the ship, a lot of in terms of morale. I think she's great, but she's a lot like Hoshi. She doesn't realize how good she is. She's a very good engineer, so and I think she would work. I think she would work well with, you know, Chief O'Brien if needed, or wherever, or with whoever. You know, she's very. I just love how she's sort of awkward and that she is. And I don't know if she's on the autistic spectrum. I don't know if she's mentioned it I can't remember if she mentions it or not, but she has those, I guess, qualities, and I think she'd be very good at sort of like in a crisis or in a problem or whatever. I think obviously being on the autistic spectrum, she would have she would think outside the box I mean, I know a lot of people who are autistic and are good at seeing things from a different perspective, and I think that would be a great quality to have. But she's just very happy, and she's just very joyful, and just I think she would bring an air of happiness to my crew, and just she would make everybody, she would lift everybody's spirits. And she's a very hard worker as well. I could assign her a lot of duties, and she would try her best to just do her best.
Yeah.
I love Tilly. I think she's a great character, and like I say, being on the autistic spectrum, I think she'd bring something different and new and creative.
She's a very warm character as well, isn't she?
A very warm character, very smiley, very sort of,
yeah.
Makes friends easily, and she wants. I think she would want others to be friends. She wouldn't like conflict, and she would be very good at getting people back to being friends again. So my random character, Ensign Tilly. She's great.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, I think I remember we were saying about how Tilly could be like your neighbor, or could be like a girl you went to school with, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love that element in Tilly, because to me it sort of drags it back down to the world of today in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of your own. Yeah. You're one of your own up there with them all. So that's a good choice. Tilly, I like that. Yeah. So
what about you?
My random +1 character. Now I said I sort of struggled to think of who I would choose. I had all sorts of ideas. I started thinking about where I would like to explore. That sort of had an impact on it. And I'd love to explore the Gamma Quadrant. And I have chosen your chief security. I've chosen Odo. Odo, or a changeling, basically. I want someone who can. Oh, I love Odo, though. I do love his personality, but really, I do love the fact, obviously, his ability to morph into all different things, and that's just a skill I would just love to have on a. I think that's the thing is what I was thinking of. Like Odo, obviously, he's head of security on a space station. I just love to take him and put him on a Star Trekking ship and actually trek with him, if you know what I mean, like, and see how he would, and how he would cope with that, and also how it would help them overcome different conflicts, using his morphing ability, and how that would help. And would the captain go, Odo, we need you to be a lampshade? I don't know. It's just. Do you know what I mean, though? It's just interesting.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Maybe not lampshade, but that's just a random idea, But also, like I said, exploring the Gamma Quadrant, I think it's nice to have a founder on your team as well. So if you do come across any Dominion or anyone that the Jem'Hadar Dar who do worship the founders, it's good to have them sort of on your team, because obviously that's some cushion there. They might either leave you alone or let you go safely, sort of thing. So I gone for Odo because, again, I think he'd help a lot out with security. I think he would work well with. We know he obviously works with Worf, obviously DS9, but I think as Worf being head security this time, I think he'd work well, not necessarily in charge, but but also below Worf as well on the starship. And also, I kind of like to see how he would communicate with Janeway as well. That's all popped into my head as well. How would they have a relationship, and how would that?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for Odo for mine, and I want to put him on a ship that moves. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. There we are. So we've come to name and class of ship.
Now, the thing with the naming, I was just thinking of, right? Now, because we're Brits, would we still say USS, or were we going to say HMS? Because we're Brit. Well, technically, if we were Brits and it was a
Yes.
British ship, it would be HMS, wouldn't it?
That is true. You
Yeah.
are very correct. However, the Star Trek fan in me
Yeah.
has put USS. So.
Okay, yeah. I put both. I put, yeah.
But no, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that bit doesn't matter. Just
Yeah,
name
no,
it.
I was just thinking of it.
No, it's worth bringing up.
Yeah.
You are correct. As Brits, we would be HMS. But
Yeah.
I put USS and then the name of my ship.
Okay.
There
So
we
we're
are.
on for.
So, well, originally, I wanted something to do with. I wanted to name it something to do with the stars, and I wanted to bring it to a personal note. So I put my star originally. I put my star sign because a lot of ships are named after star signs. So originally I had USS Capricorn because I'm a Capricorn. Hello, hello fellow Capricorns. But then I was like, well, actually, I've got a lot of characters from, like I say, a theme from my crew is the amalgamation of different aliens and backgrounds and species and stuff like that, different cultures. So I wanted to name it something that encapsulated that basically. So I've named my ship the USS Confederation.
Ah, okay.
And I've got the meaning of confederation, the dictionary meaning. It's an organization which consists of a number of parties or groups united in an allegiance or league, which basically is Star Trek. So the USS Confederation, it really screams basically what my crew is about. And that's, like I say, I've got a lot of different cultures and backgrounds and groups and stuff. So the USS Confederation.
Yeah. No, I like that because I said I imagine the script would be a lot about, like I said, about the whole race thing as well with Cisco. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So, there we are, and then so the USS Confederation would be a NX class ship.
Okay, yeah. You love the NX, don't you? Yeah.
I love it. I don't know. I mean, I've said it before in previous episodes. I just love the NXO class, but I think it would, if you think about all of my crew that I've mentioned, I think that would be a very nice place for them because, like I said, I think I would like my ship to just be about exploring and going to different. Well, I wouldn't be like a battle cruiser or because with the NX-01 it doesn't have that. It obviously has weapons, but its weaponry is quite basic, and I think it would be very much for just getting out there and exploring. I think with my crew, they're best to do that. And I love the NX-01. I think if you took the NX-01 and then just like added a little bit of a couple more decks,
okay, yeah.
So the USS Confederation NX class.
I like it. Yeah.
Captained by Captain Cisco.
Nice. So I've gone for for mine I was thinking about what I would name a ship. And again, I like to pick something out of my own culture, I thought, and out of so yeah, I was trying to think of something out of my own culture, and I thought of basically I started thinking of Welsh mythology. Which I like that idea of taking something out of a mythology, and Welsh mythology for me was quite that stuck out to me, especially in my mind. And I went for a well-known Welsh figure in Welsh mythology. Everyone knows who he is, and he was also known as a shapeshifter, which I thought that was quite interesting. Obviously, the use of Odo on the ship, and also the story of it being in the Gamma Quadrant. My ship is called the USS Merlin.
Ah, that's brilliant. Yes. Yeah, I like that, man.
I like the idea that obviously Merlin is a famous wizard. Merlin also being a kind of a, what's the word? Is it herald I'm looking for? He was kind of, he was like a guide to King Arthur sort of thing.
Yeah.
A herald, isn't it? And I like the idea of starships being, they obviously explore, but also is the idea of making the galaxy a better place, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And in a way, I guess also in the Gamma Quadrant, I was thinking of. I mean, for the Federation, I guess it would be quite a like a missionary sort of probably job, as in like, you know, we kind of will probably be going over to the Gamma Quadrant to try and make them, well, encourage them to join the Federation, or be not necessarily join, or be at least what's the word I'm looking for? You know, an equal. Do you know what I mean? Like what was the word I was thinking of the other day? I always get that word. Like in a battle or in a war, you have ally. Yeah. So kind of like a missionary sort of mission of trying to gain allies in the Gamma Quadrant. And I think Merlin being a herald, and also using the use of Odo being a shapeshifter, I just like that whole mix. And to me as well, it being a Welsh mythology just brings it for me closer to home. And also Merlin is very powerful, you know. Again, it's a very powerful ship. I've gone for Galaxy class, just like Enterprise D, which I think just works perfectly. I mean, Galaxy class is obviously, it's an exploration ship. The idea of going further in space and exploring, and it has this. It is also a very powerful ship. You know, it helped a lot during the Dominion War as well. So I think, I like the idea of it being a powerful ship, but also has sort of this sort of, I don't know, kind of like a herald sort of. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of.
I know what you mean.
Kind of like a guidance ship as well. You know what I mean? Kind of helping and recruiting.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think as well, Merlin for me has connotations of obviously magic, and I think space is quite a magical place, especially the unknown sort of the Gamma Quadrant. You know, it's quite magical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, that the name has connotations of magic. I think that's brilliant. I think that's really good. I really like that. USS Merlin.
USS Merlin. I think as well, you know, like a lot of people will have heard of Merlin, you know, all over planet Earth at least, anyway.
And traveling as well. I kind of get that. I get that connotation of travel.
Yeah. Well. And I just like the idea of, like I said, I sort of did sort of think where it would travel, and I like the idea of exploring the Gamma Quadrant more, and I like the idea of sort of having this connection with shapeshifters. I just love that idea, because I think if I was going to write a script for this, I want it that they explore shapeshifters or founders even more, you know, because if you remember, lots of them obviously were sent out like Odo across the galaxy, and the idea maybe it might be Merlin's mission might be to I guess recruit them all or something, or try and find them all to help the Federation or the Alpha Quadrant, you know. So if you are listening to CBS, you need ideas, please drop me down a message, and we'll send them over to you.
Ideas for 2 new shows. You've got you've got Star Trek Merlin, and then you've got Star Trek Confederation.
Here we are. Give us a ring, and we'll sort it out. I mean, we'll negotiate pricing, obviously. Right, I think we can call that a day now. I think, wow.
Absolutely, yes. I really loved that.
That was great. Yeah. So, there we go.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh, it's definitely a lot of fun. So that was episode 11. So thank you everyone for listening. I got to say, I really enjoyed that episode. Lots of fun. Great to be creative. So if you all, of course, make sure you do. What was that? Sorry.
Do you want to just show the list again?
Oh yeah, of course I can. Yeah, there we go.
I think if anybody out there who's watching wants to take note of that list, I'm sure we can put it up on our Facebook and other medias. Let us know what you would have as your dream crew, I guess.
Yeah.
And what you call it? I think it would be great to hear from you.
Yeah, I think it's good to hear from different like fantasy crews actually. You know, and how people would fit certain characters in places and how they interact. I think, definitely. Yeah, please do.
So,
please give us a message.
Sure you can put that up on the Facebook group or Twitter or wherever.
Yeah, I can put it on our Facebook group, or I can put it on Twitter somewhere as well. Yeah, definitely. I'll be there. Right, and so again, ladies and boys and girls, thank you all so much for joining us for this episode. Of course, make sure you can watch us on our Facebook page, or give us a like at least, or give us a message, all that, at M&DHQ on Facebook, or like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Casts, and Overcasts as well. Wherever you listen to or watching us, thank you all so much. Keep listening and watching us, and we'll see you all around. But for now, as we always say, live long and prosper.